Hi guys, my name's Christina and I played Emma Goodall from Megaforce and Super Megaforce. It's nice to see you guys and thank you for coming.
Hi everyone. I'm Allie. I played Sydney Drew on SPD.
I'm Valerie Vernon, and I played Kendrix Morgan on Lost Galaxy.
Hi, I'm Angie Diaz, and I played Vita Rocca on Mystic Force.
And I am Jessica Ray, and I played Alyssa in Relay on Wild Force.
All right, so let's get started with some questions. Anyone have any questions for our Pink and White Rangers? Let's get it started off.
Hello, I'm David.
Hi, David.
I want to know, this question's for all of you. What female superhero would you want to team up with? Like, it can be either DC, Marvel.
Wonder Woman.
Okay.
She got it.
Get that one out of the way.
I would pick Catwoman,
Okay.
but I know she's a villain, right? But hey, why can't we work together?
It would be Wonder Woman for me, too, because I grew up watching that show.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
See, I'm actually going to say,
Mhm.
what's her name? The Jessica from the Fantastic Four?
Oh, the Visible Woman?
No, she's straight. Isn't she? Yeah, she's invisible.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mine would also be Wonder Woman.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you for coming to visit us. Allie, I have a question for you. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if I get this quote wrong. And I said, I'm filthy, I'm cranky, and my new boots are trash. Do you really want to mess with me? Seriously, I love that quote so much. I want to know, was that really all the writers doing, or did you ultimately decide, I'm going to do this? You know.
I wish I could take credit for that, but that was the writer. But 100% would have been something I said. So, yeah. Yeah, I was feeling that moment, so.
And seriously, that's one of the best lines a Pink Ranger could ever say.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello. I'd like to ask everyone, did you guys have any physical training during the role, or maybe before, I guess, like before the role, and what was it like for the more difficult action parts? I guess a lot of you didn't necessarily do unmorph stuff a lot, but yeah, for those that did.
I took women's self-defense before I got the job. I didn't know that much.
Okay.
But I was trying to wing it to get the job.
Okay.
And then once we started, they had a team of martial arts people that were helping us every day to kind of get us in shape, and I'm sure you all had the same.
Yeah,
doing
same.
punches and kicks.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. We did, we would have had Koichi camp.
Yes.
So we had Koichi camp, and did you have Koichi as well? So, and he was the hardest taskmaster ever. Oh my goodness.
I don't know what that means.
Round kicks
Okay.
after round kicks, like
Yeah.
rounds after rounds. I was in so much pain.
It was like 2 weeks of intense
Okay,
training.
really? Okay.
And I'm not joking, I went through a year of physiotherapy.
Oh, wow.
Because of what it did to my knees.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
My knees are bad too. Oh my
He would
goodness.
literally make you do the splits and push your chest to the floor.
The stretching.
So
The
if
stretching
you were
was it,
flexible
yeah.
on day 1, you were by day 14. That's
Okay.
essentially the,
Okay.
yeah.
So difficult physical job. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ryan. This is a question for Christine. I was wondering if you could sing the Flower Bloom song.
Okay, guys, unfortunately, that wasn't me who sang it. I have a horrible, horrible voice. And they were like, just try, we'll record you, just try. And I tried, but then when the episode came out, I noticed that they dubbed me. Sorry.
No problem. Thank you.
Howdy, ladies. First thing I want to say, this is very intimidating since you're all very beautiful. And then my question is, if you all had a forever episode together, what past villain would you guys like to fight together?
Absolutely. I got some really, I'd be quite happy to do a forever pink.
Do you think any of the villains for your season would make a good villain for that team up then?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my season we did the Forever Red, and so I was just telling her right before we started that why wasn't there a Forever Pink, White, Purple?
Perfect. That's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
And speaking of all those different shades, we got two more right over here. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves real quick.
What did you ask?
Oh, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves to the audience real quick.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I'm Kat. I played Kat on Mighty Morphin Zeo and Turbo.
I'm Claire. I play Kendall Morgan on Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge.
Okay, me again. So do you guys have a favorite episode, and what was it?
Mine was called A Father's Footsteps, and it was just, it was my character's focus episode, and it was pretty awesome because I related to my character a lot. Before I booked the job on Power Rangers, I was actually in grad school getting my MBA, and I was in my last semester, and so I had to tell my parents that I was going to take a leave from grad school to become a Power Ranger, and they had no idea what that even was. So they were not very happy with me, and then if you've seen A Father's Footsteps, you know that my character, my dad wants me to run the family business and the family dojo, and then he's pretty upset with me that I won't do that because I want to go to college. So I really, that resonated with me a lot, and plus my father was Branscombe Richmond, who is pretty rad.
Okay, cool.
Jessica has the most amazing swimsuits, which I'm a huge advocate. I have like 5 of them.
I love you.
Great. RaceSwimwear.com.
My favorite episode would have to be Stranger Within, Part 1 and Part 2 of Mystic Force, where I got to turn into a vampire. Yeah, that was fun. It was nice to be nasty. It was good. But then I also really loved, there was also Dark Wish Part 1, 2, and 3, simply because we had the maddest fight scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was...
Even you don't have knee problems, though, I guess. You're okay. Like, yeah.
Well, I do.
Okay. You do? Okay.
That's another story.
Okay.
No, but it was really good. We rallied a lot, the Rangers on Mystic Force, and we were like, Koichi, please give us a fight scene. Come on, you've got to write one in, because we really want to do it. Yeah?
You've earned it by this point, eh? Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my favorites.
Okay, thank you.
Double Duty was my favorite. I got to play 2 characters, and again, it's fun to play somebody that's not so nice.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun for me.
Cool.
Beginnings Part 1 was my favorite, and I also liked SWAT when we were going through the desert, and that was really cool.
Thank you.
I don't remember what it was called, but it's the episode where I got to be a cheerleader, I got married, I was a police officer, and a paramedic. And, huh?
United as one.
United as one, yes. And that one was really fun for me because if you didn't notice, I had on the same costume for season 1 and season 2. So it was like in one episode, I got to wear all of these different things. I mean, I literally was wearing, no, I was wearing shorts and the same shirt for like a whole year.
We never changed either.
No, we had like, I think 20 pairs of the same thing.
Wow.
That
changed a lot.
I was, craving some
Pajamas.
Some
We got to wear pajamas.
Cool.
My favorite one was probably when I got to do my helmetless fight with Sledge in the base. I can't remember the name of that either, but I think it was the either second to last or last episode of Dino Supercharge, because I was constantly being left behind in the base. I'd have that like longing look on my face as the rest of the team runs out, and I'm like, so finally, at long last, there was a reason I was left behind, and it was to do that fight. So that was fun. Edge of Extinction. Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Just remind us. I know, you guys keep us on track. I have a few, but I love Different Shade of Pink when I was evil. It was always fun to be evil. As soon as we were good, we had to be so prim and proper all the time. And I loved in Turbo, there was an episode called Wait and See when I was kind of dealing with self-image issues. I really liked the message of that for girls.
Thank you.
Hello. So I don't think white or purple are a female exclusive, but definitely pink. That's the only female exclusive color, and I think that really creates a role model for children. I think that's great. So, who are some of your guys' female role models?
My role model was my mom, for sure. She was an Energizer bunny who just never stopped doing anything, which was, I guess, very much like my character on Power Rangers, Alyssa, and I guess who I am as a person in real life. So, like Kat said, I founded a business 10 years ago. I'm married. I have 3 kids. I homeschool them, and I just love my life.
Awesome.
Role models. Well, probably my mum as well, but I think in terms of if I was looking at where Vita came from and everything, I'd have to say kind of Sigourney Weaver from Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like
for sure.
those really strong, we don't have we need more strong superhero women. Yeah. Heroines. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
For me, when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a singer and an actress, and so I remember watching like Sound of Music and different musicals, and so Julie Andrews happened to be one for me, and it kind of led me on the path of getting into a singing career, and then going from there into acting as well.
From an early age, I was really attracted to Princess Diana and Jackie Kennedy and really strong women. Currently, I really admire women that have built their own empires and businesses and simultaneously have a family. So that would be like the Jessica Albas and, some really awesome women that currently are doing their thing.
It would be my mom and my grandma. But also, growing up, I loved Madonna. And I would steal my sister's records and play them all day and night, so.
Oh, you have so many options. Growing up, I was obsessed with Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
I wanted to be her. I still want to be her. I was Hermione for Halloween like 1,000 times. Also loved Pocahontas. And then as I've grown up, I've just gained infinitely more appreciation for my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother was an executive when women were not executives, and she has this fantastic story of showing up to speak at an event and being told to enter through the back door, and they didn't know that she was the speaker, and so she nodded and said okay, and went through the back door and then walked straight up to the podium. So she's very inspiring. Grew, raised her whole family, but had her own business at the same time. So pretty cool.
I have a lot of people just in my life, my friends and my mom, and role models just in my general life that I look up to. This sounds really cliche, but I loved Olivia Newton-John growing up. I wanted to be her. And Wonder Woman, of course. I'm channeling her today. My headband. And currently I'm a little obsessed with Game of Thrones, so Daenerys. Yes, she's going to take it over.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hi, everyone. First of all, wow, you are all even prettier up close. And Pink Rangers are the best. And I just wanted to know, what is your favorite thing about your character and why?
We keep starting.
You're so good at going first. You're great.
I just like that she was genuinely kind. I really feel like my character was kind of like the glue that held the team together, even if sometimes I would spar with Max and Danny and kick their butts, which was also really awesome because I'm way smaller than them and I would fight them at the same time. But yeah, that she was small but mighty, and she just did it all. I really loved my character.
I loved Vita's. Well, to start with, yeah, because she hated pink. And eventually she made it her own. She made it her own shade of pink. And I think that was really important. And the fact that I got some really cool fight scenes. I really did. Like, I loved it. And I loved the fact that she liked to fight. And she ran as fast as the boys. She fought as hard. And, she was just really cool. So... And I got to dye my hair a lot.
I liked Kendrick's because I felt that she was very kind as well, but she was also very intelligent, and she was strong, and she didn't need to be saved by any of the men on the show. And she had a good message as well, to never give up and to keep going and keep trying. And I love my character, yeah.
I think Sydney broke a few stereotypes because although Sydney's character was very much like my personal character, very girly and but fierce, and just really showed that women can lead, and we're not, even though Sydney and myself, blonde, might be a little bit bubbly, but we're smart, and I just think not afraid to get dirty and fight with the men, so.
I really liked Emma because she just cared so much, and all she wanted to do was protect nature, protect animals, clean up the environment, and also protect all her friends and people she didn't know, the underdogs, and robots. She protected robots too, so she had a lot of love.
Kendall got a bad rap for being harsh and a little mean, I guess, but I think that there's a misconception when it comes to her character. A lot of responsibility fell on her shoulders, a lot of responsibility, and it was never about her. It was just about how she could help everyone else around her, and using her intelligence and her practicality and kind of her harsh nature to make sure that everyone was taken care of all the time. And what's the next technology I can produce to make sure that you all are safe when you go out on the battlefield, rather than, oh man, poor me, I'm in the lab again, like I don't get to fight. So I don't know. I think she's a lot more caring than people give her credit for.
There's a theme, isn't there? Kindness and strength. I liked Kat because she was very mature, and she was very peaceful, and she was kind of a motherly figure to the others. She was always trying to help everybody, and I just think she was a really, really good person. I feel like she was a good representation of what a Power Ranger should be.
I love it all so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for taking the time to come out and visit us. And so my question is for everyone. Did any of you get to keep or borrow anything from the show?
Just disappeared.
We all got to keep our vests, our Wild Force vests, even if the last episode shows us giving them back to Princess Shayla. We got to keep those, and I have my spandex. I'll be wearing it tomorrow.
You have your spandex? You someone.
She borrowed.
And it still fits.
Oh, yeah. 3 kids. She still got it.
And my growl phone. I have some of Toxica's clothes. Just like, our show was the last in LA before it moved. And so they were getting rid of a lot of stuff. And they were kind of just like, take it. But shh. And so... it's been a while. I can tell you what I have. But this is not from set. This is from Anarchy.
Cool. I had these earrings, Vita earrings. Yeah, and I still wear them. I love them. And I do have a pair of her cargo pants. She was always wearing cargo pants, and so I'll have those on tomorrow. Yeah, we weren't allowed to touch anything. We were strictly told by the producers, you take it, you're going to get into trouble. So everything was on major lockdown.
I don't have anything.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
She's going to take back everything.
I don't have anything. I don't have anything at all. I got some pictures in a notebook, and that was it.
I wish I had something because the rest of my castmates all took something, and I didn't get the memo that that's what they were doing. And if I knew now what I knew then, I would have took everything, but I have nothing.
I got a lipstick. That's about it. That I still have. I use every once in a while, but I think it's expired.
I actually have kind of a lot. Yes. I have my Energem. I have this ring that I wore in every episode. Have a pair of jeans, a couple shirts, a couple pairs of shoes. They were very kind to me at the end of the filming process. I still wear a lot of the stuff, actually. Those are great jeans. I mean, they were hemmed specifically for my short, stubby little legs, so I gotta wear them, It was great.
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd taken things too, because I mean, I was on the show 23 years ago, so we didn't realize that you guys would still be interested in us all these years later. But I have a barrette. I got a barrette for my hair, and they did give me my power coin and communicator. That's it. Well, the cast, they had a cast that they would make our power coins with. So I have the cast, not the actual coin. But that's it. And my turbo suit did end up back to me somehow.
Oh, I also get to keep, I forgot, the Vita Vampire. They made them. They look pretty gross, to be honest. But you can come and have a look at them. I got them here.
When we went back for Ninja Steel, they had everything on lockdown, like locks on things, and they were watching us like crazy. They were on to us, I think.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey ladies, how's it going? So I'm wondering, what is the most, I hope not to bring any tears, but the most emotional experience that you've had with your fans?
I'll go again.
You want to go first, Jess?
I remember the first Make-A-Wish visit that we had. He was a little boy that was 5. He had leukemia, and they had told us beforehand that he was coming. And I just remember that I was sitting on set in front of camera, and they were like, action, and then I saw the door open, and I saw this little boy walk in with a little blue Power Ranger costume on, and I just lost it. And they were like, go to your room and get it together. And so I really tried to get it together, but we hung out for the rest of the day. That was his wish. And I told his mom, when we wrap up this season, I'm going to fly out to New York and see you guys. And so I did. And Joseph is still around today.
Awesome.
And I still keep in touch with his family. And so that was really emotional for me. The Make-A-Wish visits were they were the best. But I'll never forget Joseph.
Actually, mine happened just today, and Liz was her name, and she came and to get an autograph for a friend of hers who couldn't be there because she and her partner had lost their child. So, and she had written this beautiful little letter for me, and I was just like, oh my God. That was pretty emotional. I'm a parent, and it's just not something that should happen ever. And so that for me was really emotional. So we had a big hug, and I said, just give my love to your friends, please. And we did a little shout out as well. So, but just a lot of love, really. And, it's so beautiful to hear when a lot of fans have, come to me and said, I was in a really bad place or at some time, and I really loved watching you and your show, and that means everything. It really does. It really has opened my heart and my eyes to actually the world of Power Rangers even more so. So thank you.
I had a similar situation. It was Make-A-Wish. They came to the set, and I'd heard that, I'm going to get emotional just talking about it. But,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. He had leukemia, and he wasn't going to make it, and they said this was his wish to see the Power Rangers because he didn't have a bone marrow transplant, somebody that could help him. And I was really emotional about it. I had to go back to the room to compose myself before I saw him, and little did I know I had leukemia too. And so a few days later, I found out that I also had leukemia. So when I hear people coming up to me and telling me their stories, I'm sorry, I understand. And I know that people are going through a lot, and it really affects me, and I'm just really glad to be here and know that I'm helping other people too to get through problems that are happening in their lives. And I thank you very much. I'm just very fortunate to be in this position to help other people too. I'm sorry, I get emotional.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Wow. Just to echo what everyone else said, just the Make-A-Wish Foundation has been an incredible experience, and everyone sharing their stories of how perhaps some were bullied in school and would come home and watch our show and how it uplifted them. And this is why we all come to these conventions and connect with our fans, because the world of Power Rangers is like a global family. So it's just wonderful to hear everyone's story and be a part of the Power Ranger history.
Yeah, same. Every time I come to one of these things, I meet so many people, and to hear all of their stories, and every time there's always something that, multiple things that move me, and we are really lucky, and it is pretty special to have that connection with you guys. And I don't know, just yesterday, somebody came up to me with I think it was like a pink flag, and it was for their friend that couldn't be here as well, that had breast cancer, just going through breast cancer. And my mom just went through breast cancer. So it's just, crazy how many connections we all have with each other, and how everybody is going through something, and that we could be there for each other in, even when we don't even know each other. So.
I've had the great fortune of meeting a few little girls who have told me that they've been inspired to pursue science because of Kendall, which has been really, really, really special. And the first time I ever heard that, I think, was last Morphicon 2 years ago, when a little girl came up and she was in the glasses and everything, and she's like, I love science. Everyone always told me it was just for boys. But I love science. And she'd bought herself a little science kit, and she was reading all these science books, and that, I think, is just so special, and something that Power Rangers has done a really great job of, is creating these powerful, smart female characters who aren't just there to, have fun and whatever. They're, be pretty. They're, they're smart, and they're leaders. And and I met, even a little girl today who was wearing a purple shirt and talking about how much she loves science. And not only does she love science, she also loves ballet, and she also loves, all these other things too. And she, she felt like she could do it all, which is so incredible that our show has the power to empower these little girls. I think that's really special.
Do you want to just introduce yourself? Raja just got here, so.
Everybody, how lovely to see you.
She's got them all.
A little late to the party, but I didn't want to miss it. So thank you for putting me on the spot, Catherine.
You're
Go ahead, 'cause
welcome.
I'm trying to catch up on the question.
We've got to break the emotion for a second.
Yes.
She
for the day.
she had to make her way here from Aquitar. It took a little while.
Avatar, yes. Long way away. I don't have anything else to say because the girls have all said everything. But we are just so grateful for all of you and your stories, and they're so touching, and it means the world to us to be able to just be there for you and support you. And over the years of doing these conventions, it's just been such a gift to share it with you. So thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question for Angie. Sure. Yes. In the very final scene of Power Rangers Mystic Force, Mystic Fate, was your pink hair a real, or were you wearing a wig?
Okay. It was a wig. We wanted to we wanted to dye it, that we were all prepared to do that, but we had to do other scenes, shoot other scenes after that scene was being shot, so that it wasn't possible. But I was willing to go the whole hog, man. I loved it. But yeah, so unfortunately that was a wig for shooting reasons. Yeah.
All right. So, this is a question for everyone. Romance has kind of also been a part of Power Rangers with it as well. Is there any fellow Ranger on your team that you could have seen your character partnered with for that then?
That they haven't already partnered with?
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Good, I'm glad it's
Why are you looking at me?
I know Emma was kind of into Troy in the beginning. Nothing really happened. And then Orion came along, and she's kind of into Orion, but nothing ever really happened. So, I mean, that's the only, love thing.
I would have liked to have seen Vita have a full-on sister episode, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were always partnered with one of the guys or something. I had a lot of fun with different storylines, but I would have liked to have seen the sisters really rock it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
First, I say I feel honored to actually meet you girls, and especially everybody here, because we've all been fans of Power Rangers all the way from my Morphin just until Ninja Seals. I thank you for that. And to Christina, in Super Mega Force, you've actually get the chance to morph into all the legendary forms before Mega Force. What has always been your favorite Super Legendary mode?
My favorite one was Kimberly, the original one, because, I grew up watching her, and she is the first one, so it was pretty cool.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi. For those of you that are moms, how do your kids feel about you being a Power Ranger, and are they really into Power Rangers?
My kids don't really watch TV. Actually, I don't have a TV.
What?
I know. I was trying to get a landline phone from AT&T, and the girl was trying to sell me on DirecTV, and I kept saying, I don't have a TV. And she thought I was lying. I don't have one. So we did do a road trip last summer, and we let them watch a few episodes. I have the DVD set in the car. And then they all had nightmares about Master Org and didn't want to sleep in their room. So, never again.
So do they know that you were a Power Ranger?
They know that I'm a Power Ranger. My kids are pretty young. They're 4, 6, and 7. So they just don't really care. This weekend they're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go and meet people who think I'm cool, okay? Your mom is kind of cool. They don't care.
They will.
I've had an opposite experience where my kids are 3 and 8, and they think I'm like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, that's so great.
It's full circle. My 8-year-old now started watching SPD when he was 5, and he went to kindergarten told everybody my mommy was the pink Power Ranger, and no one believed him. And so he came home brokenhearted, and that's where I wish I had a suit. Because I would have showed up at his kindergarten class. But now he's 8 and he's stronger, and he has convinced everybody that I am the Power Ranger. So now my 3-year-old's really into it. So my husband's here and he has a shirt with my face on it, and my 3-year-old was like, "Mommy."
Where's your husband?
Right here.
Where? Oh, there he is. Hi.
So yeah, they're my biggest fans. It's awesome.
My daughter had that happen. She had, she was in kindergarten at the time. She's 12 now, but she was in class and some mums were with her, and she said, "My mummy's the pink Power Ranger." And they were like, "Oh, she's going to be the pink Power Ranger for Halloween?" She's like, "No, she's the pink Power." And they were like, "Okay, sweetie." Yeah. And she's like, "She is, okay." My kids don't watch it either. They have no interest. They're traders. They watch Ninja Turtles and all those. But they use it to their advantage now, for sure.
Thank you. Hi. This is a question for everyone, and I think that most of the people in here will like it as well. But could we, starting from MMPR all the way up until Super Mega Force, could you guys do your morphs?
I should have brought my putting us on the spot, huh? No. All right, I've got to remember 3. Thanks. Here we go. I've got to do all of them. Was there one Jetty?
Can we just do them at the same time?
Just mix it together.
Maybe I feel like rather than putting us
That'll work.
Are we all doing our morph?
What are you going to do, Catherine? Do the Zeo one.
Zeo? That's nice and easy. Thank you. I'll do the Zeo.
We're all going to yell it out.
Are we gonna like?
Hold on, I'll count.
Do this.
Count to 5.
Hit each other. Does anyone
Can we just do the motions and not
Hold on. Tell me when to count.
Let's just, are we yelling it out, or are we just
go 1, 2, 3, and then just
together?
5,
Yeah, we just yell it out.
4,
We'll yell it out.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you guys had like fancy.
Like spin the gun,
Yeah.
spin the barrel, turn around.
Right.
We used to always help each other. Yeah. Just get on your mark, man.
Hi. Hi.
Hi, how's it going? Just had a question. I'm a musical guy, so I just want to know, growing up, you guys look up to other artists like Mariah Carey, Cyndi Lauper, Kylie Minogue, or like what were your inspirational musical?
Aretha Franklin, rest in peace.
Olivia Newton-John, of course. Madonna, I loved Madonna. Yeah, probably those two. I liked a lot of boy bands like Wham and Bros. New Kids on the Block.
New Kids
on the Block. Yeah. Hanging Tough. Do you remember that song?
Oh yeah.
So cheesy.
Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah, Janet Jackson. That's another one. Michael Jackson. Yeah.
I loved
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson, and I loved Prince. I was obsessed.
That's a lot.
I like Tiffany.
Yeah. Tiffany.
We can go karaoke later.
Yeah, great. Awesome. And the Bangles.
Oh yeah. Bangles.
I loved Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and Celine Dion, and I was singing all of those songs and trying to be like them. And then I like all the Sting songs. I'm a Sting fan.
Fields of Gold.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Thank you.
I'm a little older than you all, so I like the metal things. Because I went out with a guy who wrote for Guns N' Roses, so I like the Guns N' Roses thing, and the Cult, and Kate Bush, and yes, and Lady Sings the Blues, of course. I love Billie Holiday, and Fayrouz, who of course you all know, the Arabic lady.
I mean, I have tons. I just don't know how to narrow it down. Like Heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So mine isn't a question. You guys were mentioning Make-A-Wish, and I want to say thank you for picking that as like your favorite event. When I was 10, I got a Make-A-Wish trip to meet the Power Rangers. I was sent to Disney, and my first one, there were like 4 lined up in costumes, was actually Vita. And that's the first one I wanted to see. But because of SPD, I chose to go in law enforcement. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right, ladies, thanks for coming, okay? We all appreciate it. Now, my question's for all of you. First of all, I want to say that, like, DC and Marvel have superheroes, okay? And, like, how about the movies? Some of them are not made into movies yet. Like, there's female superheroes, like, a couple of them. And how does it feel to, like, be a superhero for little girls and try to impact that they can be a superhero, too? Like, you know, you're superheroes, and you can help them try to say that they can be it, too.
I think that's one of the coolest parts of the job.
It's a big responsibility. I think we all take it really seriously. You have when you are a role model to people. So it's a huge honor. Yeah.
I
mean, the world has changed so much since the time we started. Actually, Kat and I were really early days of Power Rangers. And in my particular group, I was the first female leader of the Power Rangers and Alien Ranger. And I was a White Ranger, and I had the 4 guys who worked for me. Oh, they are not going to be pleased about that. But I told them so at that time as well. And I really took it so seriously because I thought, because I had always been a strong person, strong, moral, strong drive, I was outspoken. But at that time, until quite recently, the world wasn't this place. And I love the fact that now little girls are growing up with people like us on telly and in movies and seeing that it is just fine and actually expected that you are strong, smart, a contributor, a scientist, an athlete, and that there are no limits. And I think we were the groundbreakers, all of us. So we take it very seriously.
Just a quick thing. Some of those superheroes, like the movies that are being made today, well, I can't say the recent seasons, but the ones that were made a little bit like 10 or 12 years ago, that you came first than they did. You were a superhero first and most of the ones that are, they're coming up now. I just wanted to tell you that. Bye.
Hey, everybody. Oh, y'all hear me? Yeah. Okay. Hi, how are you? I met 2 of you, but not everybody. No, 3, I'm sorry. So my question is this. I know that all of you were Rangers in front of the camera, but did you have a chance to work behind the camera, either directing, producing, writing, or any of that nature? No. And if not, what would you have wanted to do?
I write, I'm sure, a few of my compatriots here as well.
Okay.
And, in terms of production and all aspects of making films, starting off with short films, I think that many of us have an interest in that and hopefully grow.
Yeah.
I would eventually like to direct, but at this point I'm writing.
I got you.
And I think some other ones are as well, aren't you? Kat, weren't you writing at one point?
I write children's books and novels and things.
I'm a choreographer.
Oh, okay.
So that's my.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I trained before I became the pink, one of the Pink Power Rangers. I'm a trained contemporary dancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I still choreograph and I still work as a contemporary dancer. It hurts a lot more now. But yeah. So that's my. As a creative, that's what I do.
Awesome.
To you later as well. I was finishing school while I was filming. I was getting my degree, and I only had 1 class left, and I fought really hard to have that class be considered an internship. So while I was on the set, Any day that I wasn't called or any time I had free time, I would show up with a notebook and I would interview the director and the camera ops and the post-production guys. And I have still the notebook that I took all my notes in, and I wrote a bunch of essays about how the whole thing works. And it was really, really cool to have that experience and get that education. And it allowed me to feel a lot more comfortable in front of the camera as well, not just behind it. And it gave me a lot of interest in doing other things, not just being in front of the camera, although that's what I like to do the most. I'm writing a script with my mom right now, which should be a lot of fun. It's also about strong females. So, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you.
Awesome sauce. Thank you.
Speaking about being a role model, I'm curious if the show ever looked into your background or told you like how to do interviews and stuff like that, and how to speak in public. And were they intrusive if they did? Because I think now, especially like there's things about posting things on social media and stuff like that. Were they intrusive looking into your backgrounds or anything? If they did, oh yes.
It was such a different time when we started out. It was a really different impact, I think. Maybe even more respectful in certain ways. Because I do think there needs to be, because we have a job and, although we're public figures, I think the fact that we're all human beings and we do require a level of privacy that I think is important to keep a respectful boundary for. Don't you agree, ladies?
Yeah, I was part of the Disney era, so Disney definitely looked into our backgrounds to make sure there was nothing that was going to surface that was going to tarnish their brand. But we didn't have any sort of media training for us specifically because social media didn't exist when SPD took place. I think it's a very different situation for the Rangers currently, a part of the series. I think it's a great question and something that they should be doing and offering for the cast. But
okay. Were they intrusive at all, like looking into your past?
They weren't intrusive. They just,
just thorough.
Just a general Googling background. I don't even know if Google existed then, I don't know. But anyways, it wasn't intrusive.
I don't know if they looked into my background or anything, but we did get social media. We did get some social media training, and there were things that we couldn't do, things that we couldn't post, and we did have to sign something that, we wouldn't do certain things, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
They definitely, they looked at every social media platform that I have, for sure.
Okay.
And there were certain things I couldn't say, certain things I couldn't do. I don't know how extensive it was, but we were definitely told to keep everything very private, unless it was a very public platform in which you are communicating with people who watch the show, which I think is totally fine. I think that it's important to have your own private life and then the part of your life that you want to share. Definitely different though.
I just remembered Ranger Board was big when our season happened, and we had Brandon's birthday party, the Red Ranger, and somebody there leaked all the photos to Ranger Board. And I think a couple of them got posted, and we all got in a lot of
Were they drinking and stuff like that, or?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello again. I want to ask this to the later seasons, and if you want to, you can ask to the current, the ones that are currently. Like, I just want to say that, like, back in the 90s, early 2000s, they've had so many superhero movies, okay? And there weren't a lot of female superheroes. Nowadays, you see, like, Wonder Woman got a movie. You see Miss Marvel's going to get a movie. You see, I forgot her name, but the Black Panther girl, Black Widow, and there's quite a few more. I kind of feel like the you women kind of started it, like the female superhero thing, and how does that feel? I really do. I feel like you girls started it.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty proud actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I felt like everybody. I remember when I was a kid, I was a Red Ranger, and all the little girls wanted to be the Pink Ranger for Halloween. They wanted to. They could agree. They wanted to be the Pink Ranger, and I kind of felt like that was the first like female superhero icon. And nowadays you see Storm and Black Widow, and I forgot her name, but the Black Panther girl.
Thank you.
the warrior girl. I just wanted to tell you that. I kind of feel like the Pink Ranger started it for little girls wanting to be superheroes. And now you see them come to the cons, and now you see them come and dress up as you.
All right. So I'd say that's about it for our panel. Thank you so much to all our panelists. Let's have another round of applause. Yeah. All right.